Mm-hmm. Huh. Interesting. This is cool. This is an interesting experience. I'll show you my background now because we'll talk some more. So my background is I went to Stanford for electrical engineering and computer science, and then I did my master's in the mid '90s in human computer interaction. So it's sort of the early days with Terry Winograd, who was the advisor for Larry and Sergey into the Digital Libraries Project, and then David Kelly from IDEO, and then I went to Apple for a while. I went to a company called Trilogy, and I went to Apple for a while when Steve came back, and I worked in the labs there on end user authoring stuff. And like the big thing there is that end users don't really author content generally. And then I started my own company called Reactivity, and then in 2005 I went and joined Mozilla when it was about 12 people, and Firefox was just kind of starting to kick off. And so I got there, and I recruited Shrek to run engineering for us, which was probably one of the smarter decisions I've ever made. And then we grew Mozilla. So we grew up to about 450 million users and about 350 employees around the world. And that was important. We got to be about 25% of the internet for a little while. And then I left in end of 2010, and I joined Greylock. Mostly Greylock because I knew Reed and Anil and David very well, and I'm a nerd by any measure really. But David and Anil and Reed, all the guys at Greylock were product people fundamentally, and so we're the kind of firm that likes to do this stuff and likes to play with it, and likes to give feedback, and likes to be in the products, and I feel like my hand is moving without motion. I gotta figure out how to move. Wow, I just shot something. That's interesting. I feel like I should do things like these mannequin hands are kind of interesting. In my grasp, kind of. Anyway, so I joined Greylock in 2011, and I've done investing on the consumer side of things and the enterprise side, and we split that up as go to market. So who buys, who pays for, whether it's consumers or big companies. The other partners tend to either do one or the other. I do both. Partly because I like technology platforms. Technology platforms, it's a little hard to predict what their go to market is sometimes, and partly just because it's like I have issues with authority, so I break rules. But anyhow, so I've invested in things like Instagram and Tumblr and Dropbox, and then some enterprise collaboration things like Clip and Figma and ClearSlide. And then lately I've been doing a lot of emerging technology. So I just did an esports company that's in stealth. It's like 4 guys, and then the investment before that was a company called Angle, which I think I mentioned to you, John, which is basically it's probably seven guys and their dog, like more or less trying to figure out what the equivalent of Minecraft or for UGC is. And they're pretty obsessed with hand but how you paint, and how you sort of paint things, and recognizing that sculpting is kind of hard, and 3D creation is hard, but 2D creation is simpler, and so thinking about how to do that. Yeah. The question was going to be whether this was going to be more compelling or less compelling than a video conference. And I think it's both. I think it's probably the answer, although I do feel that the sense of presence is very strong. I mean, partly it's because you guys are all like staring at me, which seems like it makes me self-conscious, but and I guess no, that's all right. Yeah, exactly. And then I wonder what I look like, which is interesting because you guys all have your like avatars. So I can imagine I'm like VC avatar. But oh yeah. When did you guys get this up for the first? When did you guys start having conversations like this? Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, for VR, I don't stay in VR. You guys are guaranteed to have the longest session lengths of any VR app by a long stretch. Like I don't feel like there's no dislocation I feel at all in this. I spend a lot of time on other things. I have I wear glasses, and so the glasses are a little uncomfortable and all that kind of stuff in a headset, and so I can tell that the headset's going to be heavy over time. All that stuff's going to get better. It is interesting because I'm forced to pay attention to you guys in a way I'm not forced to pay attention to in a video chat, which is interesting. Just the pace of the rollout is stressful. It's going to be a long time till most humans get these things. Just because, well, even you guys, like, you had to get a room set up over here. Like, there's no room in my house for this now. And so, just the rollout's going to be funny. And so I think we're going to see all these all-in-ones from Oculus and Google and others next year. They'll have positional tracking them on the cell phone platform. It'll be better. But I think we're a ways away. You blink periodically. That's artificial blinking. Yeah, interesting. And then how do you do eye where the eyes are pointing? It's like, yeah. 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 That's neat. How did you get the ball? What did that do? Oh. Whoa, shit. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, neat. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Ah. I can juggle, but it's hard. Ah, it's hard. All right, cool. I'll stop doing that. I just wonder what the interesting use cases will be for a while. Like, this does feel like a better connection than it would have felt on a Hangout in an interesting way. But I can also feel myself getting fatigued. So I can feel that the mental load is higher, or the cognitive load, or whatever. I'm not sure exactly why it is. Maybe it's just the thing sitting on my head. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, somebody's hand is moving in space. How did that happen? Huh. Cool. Yeah, thanks for showing me. What else? What else is good to talk about? In a design context, this is a huge deal. You can be talking about the car model here in space together. Another buddy of mine runs most of IDEO, and so design briefs and stuff like that really depend on attention and pitching. And to the extent that you could do this with design, 3D models or design pitching, it's a really compelling thing, I think, once I figure out how to use my hands. Oh, sorry. It's a little distracting. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I think that the use cases are huge. It does feel to me like telepresence and remote stuff is one thing, but being able to act on a digital only object would be a big deal too. Oops. Yeah. Car models, things like that, prototypes. It seems like you've got supply chain, for example. So you have people building things for you in Shenzhen. It does seem like being able to look and sort of move objects around and talk about what the physicality of the object would matter a little bit. Facing cameras, so Oculus, I think, thinks about AR as a starting point by taking cameras. Cameras facing out, and then trying to bring the video into the virtualized world. So I think you'll do some of that, whereas other AR folks like Magic Leap are talking about that stuff sort of from the start, from de novo, and there's less constructed world, so there's no opacity. It does feel to me like there's going to be some combination of modeled and real photographic images. It'll be a mix. It's interesting. Yeah, and I think the thing that's in the back of my head is just numbers, like raw numbers. So I think you've got, I think we maybe talked about this one. My sense now is that PlayStation VR is not going to, it's going to be south of 2 million now this year. I think they'd be ecstatic if they had 2 million. I think that Oculus, I think will probably be ecstatic if they had even 600,000 or 700,000. I think Vive is probably half or a third of that. And so the numbers are just so small. So I think, but to your case, like to your point, like disappeared. Maybe just thinking about where the concentration is, like which companies are buying dozens of them is kind of key.
Yeah, exactly. This is cool. You guys have done a really nice job.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. I know. Like he told me, that's exciting.